The text came while I was sitting in traffic. A gift bag of seashell earrings on the seat beside me, bought for my mom to wear on the family cruise I was funding. My phone buzzed. 7 words from her. "You're not coming. Dad wants just family." I'm Millie Miller, 33, and in that moment I finally understood something that had taken 30 years to see clearly. I wasn't a daughter they loved. I was a resource they tapped. Growing up, I was the fixer. At 16, when my dad's construction business collapsed in the 2008 recession, I worked 2 jobs and handed my mom my entire savings, over $500, off my kitchen table. She never paid it back. When my sister Vanessa dropped out of the college I'd co-signed loans for, I spent 2 years on freelance gigs paying off her debt. They didn't call me Millie. They called me the responsible one. I thought it was a badge of honor. It was just their word for convenient. I built a real life anyway, a marketing analytics career, a condo in Denver, a 401k. My success seemed to embarrass them more than impress them. "Money changes people," my mom would say at Sunday dinners. So when they started hinting about a dream Caribbean cruise, I didn't hesitate. This was my chance to finally buy my way into belonging. I booked everything: 6 tickets, balcony suites, premium dining, excursions in 3 countries, drink packages, the works. $21,840. My thank you was a single red heart emoji in the group chat. I even mailed everyone matching embroidered polo shirts for a family photo. 2 days after they arrived, still silence. Then came the text in traffic. I called, straight to voicemail, all 3 of them. I opened the family group chat to ask what was happening. It was gone. I'd been removed. Then my cousin Sarah sent me a screenshot. A new chat called Miller Cruise Crew, with Vanessa holding up one of my shirts, captioned, "Thank God Millie decided she was too busy with work to come," winking face included. I sat with the invoices all night, every charge under my name, my card, my email. I didn't cry. Something colder and clearer settled in instead. I didn't want revenge. I wanted control. And I still had all of it. At 8 a.m. I called the cruise line. Politely, calmly, I canceled the premium dining packages for all 6 guests, canceled the Wi-Fi and drink passes, canceled the snorkeling, the ziplining, the private cabana. Then I asked for the cabin assignments to be changed, all 5 balcony suites downgraded to the cheapest interior cabins on the lowest deck. "And your suite, Ms. Miller?" the agent asked. "I'll keep mine," I said. "I'll be there, just not with them." 2 weeks of total silence followed. They had no idea what I'd done. I boarded alone in Miami, was led to a penthouse suite bigger than my first apartment, and spent the first night in total, liberating peace. I saw them the next evening at the buffet, miserable, gripping cheap blue wristbands. My mother spotted me first and went pale. My dad's jaw tightened. Vanessa flushed crimson. "What are you doing here?" my dad demanded. "You said the trip was for just family," I said. "I'm family, here I am." I walked away before they could recover. That night, real karma arrived. I watched from my table at the ship's steakhouse as they showed up dressed up, asking for their reservation. The hostess found nothing. Their cabins only had buffet access. Vanessa hissed at my mother that I'd supposedly paid for everything. My waiter later told me they'd asked if the guest in the penthouse would upgrade their dining plan. "No," I said. "They'll manage." Days of avoidance followed, them treating me like a ghost, until they cornered me at the adults-only pool. My mother led the attack. "How could you do this to us?" Not an apology, an accusation. They were the laughing stock of the ship, my mother said, humiliated by their wristbands. Not one word about what they'd done to me. "Let me see if I have this straight," I said. "You took a $21,000 vacation I paid for, uninvited me by text, told everyone I was too busy to come, kicked me out of the group chat, and you think you're the ones who look ridiculous." Vanessa sneered that it was always about money with me, that money doesn't buy class. "You're right," I said, "but it buys tickets, balcony suites, steak dinners, and I'm done buying yours." My dad muttered, "Ungrateful brat," and walked off. They left me in silence by the pool, and for the first time in my life, being watched by strangers didn't shame me. It felt like freedom. The rest of the cruise passed in cold avoidance. I took a cooking class, watched every show, sat on my balcony for hours. They sulked through buffet lines while I actually enjoyed the vacation I'd paid for. On the last morning, I wasn't finished. From a cafe in the Miami terminal, I disputed every charge tied to excursions they never used and got back nearly $6,000. Then I canceled the hotel reservation I'd booked for their layover night and the black car service set to drive them from the port. Every thread connecting my name to their comfort severed. A younger version of me would have panicked imagining them stranded. This version felt only peace. You can't cut someone out of the family and still expect them to fund your hotel. Back in Denver, the explosion I braced for never came. Their pride wouldn't let them call and demand anything. That would mean admitting they'd expected me to keep paying after throwing me away. So they chose silence, and in that silence I started healing. A week later, there was a knock at my door. My mother, alone, smaller and older than I'd ever seen her. I opened the door only partway and didn't invite her in. "We went too far," she started, fumbling for an excuse. I cut her off. "You thought I'd keep paying. You thought you could cut me out and still get all the benefits of having me in the family." She didn't deny it. A tear slid down her face, not for what they'd done to me, I realized, but because the system that had used me for years had finally collapsed. "It's over, Mom," I said. "The bank is closed. The rescues are finished. You'll have to learn how to afford your own vacations now." Then I closed the door, gently, until I heard the latch click. It was the quietest, most necessary sound I've ever made. 6 months later, I took another cruise solo to the Greek Isles. Sapphire water, ancient ruins on Santorini, sunsets I watched alone and loved watching alone. I filled a journal not with anger, but with the slow understanding that peace doesn't come from an apology or from fixing people determined to stay broken. It comes from letting them go and letting them live with what they chose. When I got home, a postcard waited in my mailbox. My mother's handwriting. "We're sorry, Millie. We miss you." A year earlier, those words would have pulled me straight back into their orbit. Instead, I just smiled, tucked it in a drawer with other old relics, and went back to packing, this time for a hiking trip to Moab, funded by me, planned by me, and shared only with people who valued me for who I was, not for what I could give them.